Hear now the echo of ancient times, where sacred history unfolds its chapters of kings and kingdoms. Today we delve into the world of Judah, the southern kingdom, to meet a remarkable monarch. His name, Uzziah. Uzziah, son and successor of King Uzziah, ascended the throne of Judah at a crucial period in Israel's history. After the death of the wise King Solomon, the once united nation was split in two. To the north, the kingdom of Israel; to the south, the kingdom of Judah. And it was in the latter that Uzziah reigned for many years, marking his era with power and prosperity. His rule extended from 792 BC to 740 BC, an extensive and impactful reign. Curiously, while Uzziah governed Judah in the south, another king, Jeroboam II, reigned in the northern kingdom, in Israel. And it is notable that under the rule of these two monarchs, both the south and the north experienced a period of unprecedented greatness since the days of Solomon, an era of prosperity and strength that stood out amidst often turbulent times. But what does the very name of this king reveal to us? Uzziah, a Hebrew name, carries a deep meaning. It translates the truth that Jehovah is my strength, or strength of Jehovah. Many wise men believe this divine motto may have been the principle that guided his reign in the early years. Besides Uzziah, he was also known by another name, Azariah. And this alternative name, Azariah, also resonates with divine intervention, meaning Jehovah has helped. Two names, both pointing to dependence on or the manifestation of the Lord's strength and help. A promise, perhaps, or a constant reminder of the power that sustained him, if he sought it. Thus begins the journey of this king who shaped the destiny of Judah for over 5 decades. What story will he tell us? At the age of 16, young Uzziah ascended to the throne of Judah. A reign that would extend for a lengthy 52 years. A remarkable era was about to begin. We ponder the possibility of a co-regency, a shared rule with his father, Amaziah. Chronological studies of the kings of Judah suggest this hypothesis, but the Holy Scriptures, in their solemn silence, do not directly confirm it. What is clearly revealed to us, and resonates through the centuries, is that Uzziah did not assume power by simple inheritance or royal imposition. He was chosen. Yes, freely chosen by the very people of Judah to be his king, an election that sealed his destiny and that of his nation. With the crown upon his young head, Uzziah acted with vision and determination. Jerusalem's defenses, weakened by the folly of the previous reign, demanded immediate attention. He reformed them, strengthened them, made them more resilient against coming threats. But he didn't stop there. The army of Judah, the nation's armed might, was reorganized under his command. Uzziah understood the need for innovation, for adaptation to the times. He introduced new armament technologies, equipping his troops for the challenges they would face. A nation that had been weakened now felt the vigor of a new leader. More crucial than military reforms or city defenses was the young king's initial stance. The Bible testifies that, at the beginning of his long reign, Uzziah sought God. He feared him and rendered him due worship. He walked the path of righteousness before the eyes of the Lord. And what was the consequence of this devotion, this sincere seeking? The Scriptures reveal to us that God blessed him, and with the divine blessing upon the king, came blessing upon the entire nation of Judah. A reign that began under the favor of the Most High, promising prosperity and security. Uzziah was loved by his people, recognized as a great monarch, a symbol of hope in uncertain times. And King Uzziah, driven by a vision of power and prosperity, cunningly consolidated his kingdom's position on the crucial trade routes of the era. His eyes turned southward, towards the strategic Ezion-Geber. There, on the warm shores of the Red Sea, he reopened ports and reactivated industries, long forgotten or neglected. A door to distant trade was thrown wide open. The flow of goods and dazzling wealth began to flood Judah, generating unprecedented prosperity for the nation. But prosperity walked hand in hand with military might. Uzziah did not hesitate to wield the sword to ensure his kingdom's security and expand its influence. He led bold and incredibly successful campaigns against peoples who threatened his borders or trade routes. The Philistines, once formidable, felt the weight of his power. The Arabs who roamed the desert were subdued by his troops, and he didn't just conquer, Uzziah established a system of tribute, imposing his rule over the Ammonites and other neighboring nations, who now paid tribute to the king of Judah. It wasn't just war that defined Uzziah. He was a master of defense, strategy, and internal development. Imposing fortresses were erected in key locations, high strategic points that protected the borders and controlled the territory. These citadels were stone sentinels, ensuring peace and security, and his vision went beyond defense. Uzziah understood the vital importance of the land. He invested heavily in agriculture, encouraging cultivation, and in livestock farming, ensuring the abundance that sustained the people and the nation's wealth. Fertile fields and numerous herds were a silent testament to his administrative wisdom. Uzziah's fame as a warrior king, shrewd in trade and zealous for the land, spread rapidly. His military victories and the wealth of his kingdom echoed through neighboring lands. His reputation as a powerful and successful leader crossed the desert and reached the ancient lands of Egypt. Admired or feared, everyone knew the name of Uzziah. And today, time confirms the veracity of these ancient accounts. Careful archaeological excavations unveil the layers of history. They find traces of his fortresses, of his campaigns, of his prosperity, confirming with impressive accuracy the biblical accounts of the splendor and power that marked much of his reign. A testament in stone and earth to the greatness he achieved. But a time came, a time of peril for King Uzziah's soul. Endless triumphs, unparalleled power, vast riches, all of this swelled his heart with terrible pride. The fear of God, which once guided him, was obscured by the arrogance of his own achievements. He dared to go beyond the sacred boundaries, to take for himself that which did not belong to him. With an arrogant stride, he entered the temple of the Lord, not as a supplicant, but with the intent of offering incense on the altar. This was a right, a privilege, granted by God only to the consecrated priests, to the sons of Aaron. But Uzziah, blinded by his perceived own greatness, wished to claim this exclusive right. The courageous priests, faithful to the divine commandment, confronted the king. They stopped him, warned him of the danger, of the transgression he was about to commit against the Holy One of Israel. But Uzziah, in his proud fury, refused to back down. He grew angry with those who were trying to protect him from his own folly. And there, in that sacred place, at the height of his anger and defiance, the divine judgment manifested. Immediately, upon the king's forehead, leprosy broke out, a terrible, visible punishment for his sacrilege. The unclean disease, the mark of God's displeasure. Because of this affliction, Uzziah was forced to leave the temple in haste. He would be required to live the remainder of his days in isolation, separated from his people, confined to a separate house. The daily administration of the kingdom, the responsibilities of the throne, were transferred to his son, Jotham, the mighty king, now a recluse, a living reminder of the consequences of arrogance. And it is said that during his reign, perhaps at the very moment of his impiety, the earth shook violently. A great earthquake, an event so significant that its memory persisted for generations. An ancient tradition links this catastrophic tremor, this convulsion of creation itself, to King Uzziah's profane act in the temple, a frightening demonstration of the divine reaction to his audacity. The king's pride, which lifted him so high, was the cause of his terrible fall. The great Uzziah, humbled and punished by his own sinful hand, and then after years of glorious reign, of expansion and prosperity unparalleled since the great Solomon, King Uzziah, once meaning, "Jehovah is my strength," fell under the weight of his own pride and disease. The end of his life was marked by isolation, by the leprosy that separated him from the people he loved so much. But his story doesn't end there. In those days, Judah had powerful prophetic voices. Isaiah, Amos, and Hosea raised their words amidst Uzziah's kingdom. And it was precisely in the year of this earthly monarch's death that something extraordinary happened. The prophet Isaiah had his eyes opened to a heavenly vision. He saw the Lord seated on a high and lifted up throne. As the earthly king departed, the true king of the universe was revealed in all his glory. Uzziah was, without a doubt, a great monarch, loved by his people, a symbol of hope in difficult times. Despite the shame of his later years, the sin that marked him, the nation mourned him deeply. His death left a void. National mourning set in. The stability he brought began to falter. with less pious kings ascending the throne, leading Judah down dangerous paths towards paganism and poverty, and the nation seemed lost, destabilized, seeking comfort amidst uncertainty. The greatest king they had known since Solomon was dead. Crisis had set in. But Isaiah's vision in the temple offered a divine perspective. Yes, King Uzziah had died. But the king who truly reigns, whose throne is not empty, nor ever will be, was alive. A powerful truth that brought comfort and renewed the people's hope, showing that true strength does not reside in earthly kingdoms, but on the eternal throne of the Most High God. May this story teach us the dangerous fragility of human pride and the unshakable sovereignty of our God. Even when earthly leaders fail or depart, He who sits on the celestial throne remains, forever our strength and our refuge. And so, we reach the end of another journey through the sacred scriptures. If this message has touched your heart and enlightened your understanding, we ask that you leave your like, your comment, and, above all, that you subscribe to support our project of carrying the word forward. May the peace of the Lord be with you, and may God richly bless your life.